I went to the pursuit of truth. So it's my birthday and, 48 years here and the world doesn't seem to have got any much better, but there was this story about this boy Alfie. It just broke my heart hearing it, knowing, I have twins and knowing how vulnerable they are, how loving they are, and to think that someone would be able to, for a year, abuse their child and then end up causing their child to die, leaving their child outside, that bit when he's calling to let him in, and the numerous phone calls were made to the police. I know no one wants children taken away from their parents, but I guess it has to be done if the parents aren't willing or able to look after a life, because it's not fair on that child to lose its life. I don't know, how could you do that? How could you bring, the 9 months, all the work it takes to bring a child into existence, all the hard work, and then do that? I'm going to play it to you. It broke my heart hearing this. And our world never changes. Oh, here it is.
Today for us. Right, we are going to have much more from Nottingham. We're following the police investigation. Any more updates, we'll bring them straight to you here on Sky News. In the meantime, I'm going to hand you back to Wilfred in the studio for a look at the rest of the day's news.
SJ, thank you. A mother and her partner have been convicted of killing her 9-year-old son after months of abuse. Dirk Howell was found guilty of murdering Alfie, and his mother, Carla Scott, was convicted of manslaughter. Sky correspondent Becky Johnson's been following this case, and a warning her report contains details that viewers may find distressing.
No, I went in there and I got him out straight away.
She was trying to explain away his injuries.
I think he back. He's got some.
Her lies had begun when she called 999.
Ambulance service, is the patient breathing? No, he's not. He fell asleep in the bath.
The truth is 9-year-old Alfie Steele had been repeatedly beaten, then held under a cold bath as part of an ongoing regime of punishment. He had more than 50 injuries and showed signs he'd been deprived of oxygen. As his mother pretended she didn't know where her fiancé was.
Hello, where are you?
Dirk Howell was running away from the house. The police caught him as he tried to get on a train.
Put your hands up for me. So at the moment, you're under arrest.
Alfie had suffered over a year of abuse. There were times he was locked outside the house in Droitwich in Worcestershire. A neighbour recorded his desperate screams to be let in. Neighbours were so concerned they repeatedly called 999. This was April 2020.
I'm hearing some really worrying noises from next door. I've heard what sounds like a child in distress.
And this a month later.
I've had him in the garden, disciplining him. He's standing like a statue.
Your husband's had to report them before?
Yes. This lad, we believe, is called Alfie.
Then, most significantly, this in August.
Police emergency.
Hello, it sounds like my neighbours are doing something bad to their kid in the bath, like they're really hurting them.
That was 6 months before Alfie died. The warnings to police were clear, and social services were involved too. They'd put in place a protection plan that meant Dirk Howell wasn't allowed to stay overnight, a rule the couple repeatedly flouted. In the year before Alfie's death, social workers had considered removing him from his mother, but they didn't. This is yet another case where a child known to the authorities to be at risk has died, leaving serious questions about what more should have been done to protect him. An independent child safeguarding review is underway, but any lessons will come too late for Alfie. Becky Johnson, Sky News, Droitwich.
His picture I'll put as the screenshot of this video, but just looking at his face, and it looks like he's in his school uniform. How, to hold a child underwater and murder it. How could you do such a thing? I just don't understand. I know, like, children, they act up, they muck about, they do all sorts of things, you pull your hair out and but to hurt your own child, any child, whether it's yours or not, it doesn't matter, but I don't know, this is why I'm recording this as part of the Pursuit of Truth. It's just an example of the society we live in, and I'm sure there may be, I doubt we'll ever get to the reasons why this was done. I guess there was psychological impairment and stuff for the parents. But I suppose when they were frustrating the rules, then that's when the child should have been taken away, especially after so many neighbours had reported this. But just what human beings are capable of. It's just nothing ever seems to change, and I'm sure a lot of this is to do with the system that we're brought into, the way we're brought up, how we're educated, the struggles of life and money and all that. I'm not trying to condone what's going on, but I wonder if we lived in a better way, there would be less of these kinds of things happening. This is just one example. We looked at wars where thousands, millions are killed, or genocides, or terrorists or murderers, robbers and thieves and all that kind of stuff. That these are all byproducts of the system of division and all that kind of stuff. I'm not trying to get away from this main thing that I want to talk about, but it's just, I don't know, it just makes you sad to be human, to know that a fellow human who was only, 9 years old, has lost his life, and how he must have suffered in that year, or maybe before then. How in those moments where his parents, the ones who are meant to, be the ones that are guardians to look after him, to safeguard him from all dangers and terrors and things, to read him nice bedtime stories at night, hold him underwater and drown him. Why would anyone do such a thing? It's just, I don't know, it just makes you not want to be part of the human race when you see that people are capable of doing such things. And, this is just one life. I mean, even, world leaders and etc. and generals and soldiers and armies, and they send people to go murder people because of, they want a bit of land or this, that and the other. It's all murdering, no matter, whether you try and jazz it up as some kind of victorious battle, defence or whatever. It's still murdering of another human being who won't get to live. When will we stop this? When will we realise that we don't need to kill each other, we need to find better ways? If these parents really were unwilling or unable, surely they must have known they were unable to look after this child if this is what they were doing. Why don't they just give it up for adoption, or say they couldn't cope rather than take their life? But then this is where we live in, isn't it? Where, where we go around bombing people and wars and everything, action movies and games and all that about murder, and TV series and dramas and glorification of war and things, the Battle of Britain, or, the taking down of Potemkin or whatever, different war films. We should be ashamed of any murder, no matter what the excuse is. Yeah, maybe because of the system that we live in, it was necessary to try and defend, but, because you want to defend people from evil people. But I don't know, it's just, on my birthday made me reflect and not feel good, to be honest. Take care, take it easy, God bless, and peace.